Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode here on Mcubed of NFL Power Rankings. As always, I'm your host, Schmook, so let's just get right into it. So at number 10, we're going to have the Indianapolis Colts, okay? Now, they're not the best team on paper, and they did have some unfortunate injuries this past week with Quentin Nelson, who's one of the best guards in the entire league, right? But Carson Wentz has actually looked pretty good. They're in the second place of their division. They're 5-5, which isn't a terrible record at this point in the season. There's still a lot of football left. But again, I'm gonna put them at 10. There's a lot of teams that you could argue could be on here. I'd maybe switch them and the Bengals around, possibly, because the Bengals had a huge bye week where the Steelers tied and then the Ravens lost and the Browns lost. And the Bengals are a good football team. I just want to see them after one or two more weeks, and they would probably be in my top 10. But as of right now, I've seen the Colts play a lot more often recently. So I'm just going to put them in the top 10. I think they look like a solid football team. Jonathan Taylor's looking like one of the best running backs in the entire league. Carson Wentz is looking good, and Michael Pittman is a stud wide receiver. And that defense is pretty darn good too. All right, so let's just go on to number 9. All right, so this team has had a big old drop off. In my opinion, I think there's been 2 bad weeks in a row for the LA Rams, okay? They've had 2 primetime games in a row, and they have been embarrassed both times. Apparently, they might not be a good spotlight team, you know? I mean, they're probably the team in the NFL with the most primetime games because, it's LA, blah. Sorry, I hate the LA Rams because I'm from St. Louis. I miss my St. Louis Rams so much, and now they're really they're a stud team. They just got Odell. Odell did nothing though in the Monday night game, but again, with that roster, they still have to be a top 10 team. But again, I just don't know what the problem is. I mean, Stafford hasn't looked fantastic recently. On Monday night, 49ers did some work against the Rams. I was not expecting that whatsoever. It was mainly their defense. I mean, Deebo Samuel in that defense definitely won the 49ers that game. They couldn't, the Rams couldn't get anything going. They had 1 touchdown that entire game. But yeah, the Rams are at 9. Again, it's too good of a roster. They'll bounce back. Once Von Miller and Odell have a couple weeks of practice in them, they're gonna be like the Bucks, I'd say, last year, where set the last quarter of the season, right after around Thanksgiving game, so that's about a week from now. That's when you'll see the true team start to take form, and I truly believe that. So I think around that time, I think the Rams will start to look pretty good. I think after this 2 loss little situation, they have to bounce back. They're too good. You know, they have too many great guys on that team to be not a good team, right? Especially you can't have a Jared Goff Rams team without Odell, Von Miller, and Jalen Ramsey there for a while. Honestly, make it to a Super Bowl. I mean, the league is a lot better now, but I mean, this team it sucks because they also lost Robert Woods. I will put that out there, but Van Jefferson's a good wide receiver. They just got Odell. So no matter what, Rams should be able to get far. They should make playoffs. But, they're second in their division. But the NFC isn't looking too hot. But I'd say the Rams are probably going to at least get that second wild card. And, we'll see. All right, let's go on to number 8. All right, so number 8, we have the Ravens. Okay? Now, the Ravens, they've had some bad losses recently. They had a good win against the Vikings. I believe that was last week. Yeah. I think that was week 9. I think we just had week 10. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, the Ravens, they just lost. Yeah, the Ravens had a terrible loss on Thursday Night Football to the Dolphins. They did not look good at all. They were not ready. It was a trap game. Simple as that. It's just a game where the coach probably isn't thinking too much of it. Just let Lamar do his thing. The defense will be fine. But the Dolphins went out there and played really well. I'd say John Harbaugh got out-coached. Lamar got shut down. If you can do that, then you're going to beat the Ravens every time. But if Lamar is clicking, they might be the best team in the league, in my opinion. But, sometimes it just doesn't always work out that way. And, I'd say Lamar needs one more elite weapon. Rashad Bateman's looking good, who they drafted. And then Marquise Brown, I think he can be a wide receiver one of these young superstars. He has potential to be. He's super fast. He could potentially be the next Tyreek Hill after he develops a little bit longer. And then you have Lamar as your quarterback. So you have one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. That's really it for the Ravens. I mean, again, I like them more than the Rams and the Colts because I like the team overall more as it stands today. Of course, give it a few more weeks after the Thanksgiving games, we should have a better idea. But until then, I like the Ravens slightly over those 2 teams. But yeah, let's go on to number 7. All right, so number 7, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, now they have not been great this year. I don't think they've been in my top 10 all year. I could be wrong, but Now the Chiefs, they just had an insanely good game on Sunday Night Football. Like the Raiders have been like a pretty competent team, you know, especially after like they lose their head coach, they lose one of their star wide receivers, and like they're still able to go out there, put up points, have a solid defense, and win games, right? And the Chiefs have not looked great, and their defense has not looked great at all, but their defense did some work on Sunday Night Football this past week. Like the Chiefs are just like, I don't know, if everything's clicking, I kind of feel the same way with the Ravens. That's why I see them like interswap. You know, I think you can change the Ravens and the Chiefs at 8 and 7. You know, just based on how I see them like on the day I'm filming. But today I like the Chiefs a smidge more because Pat Mahomes was looking like old Pat Mahomes. He threw for like 400 something passing yards, and I think he threw for like 3 or 4 touchdowns. I think it was 4 touchdowns. Might have been 5 touchdowns. I'm not sure. But regardless, like the Chiefs went off. The run game was actually pretty crazy. Like Darrell Williams had an insane catch in the end zone. He looked like a wide receiver out there. And then Tyreek Hill had a monster game, had like 2 touchdowns, I believe. Might have had 3. He had at least 2 though, for sure, and over 100 yards receiving. I think once you get Travis Kelce needs to get a little bit more active. I think he's a little banged up, but once Travis Kelce is acting like old Travis Kelce, this team is going to be insane. Especially if they keep this going. Like the defense did some crazy work this past week against the Ravens. All right, or the Raiders, I should say. My apologies. But yeah, I just like the Chiefs more than the Ravens because I think they have a lot more weapons. And the Ravens, I like the Chiefs offense more, and I like the Ravens defense more than the Chiefs, right? You know, so I see them as like they're super close. You know, it's not like I have like the Chiefs like three ahead. Like they're literally neck and neck, and I think you can change them. All right, let's just go on to number 6. All right, so at number 6 we have the Arizona Cardinals. Okay, now here's my thing. They did get wrecked over the weekend. They lost a pretty rough game to the Panthers. But to be fair, I'm still going to have them in my top 10. I'm not going to have them in my top 3 because Kyler and DeAndre Hopkins have been out for a little while, right? And I want to see how they play right when they get back. Like, we just saw Russ come back, and he did not play well against the Packers. Like, I don't think he didn't score. I think he might have scored 1 touchdown, maybe. No, he didn't. No, the Seahawks didn't even score against the Packers, right? So Russ looked rusty. I would assume Kyler might look a little rusty, and then DeAndre Hopkins probably won't do great. But I say give them 2 weeks. If they both return this week, I'd say give them one, like probably the Thanksgiving weekend or the weekend after that, for the Cardinals to look like a top 3 team again. But that's why they dropped down a little bit. But then 2 weeks ago now, they have like it's just James Conner because Chase Edmonds gets hurt. James Conner rushes for like 4 touchdowns or something, or 4 total touchdowns. And then Colt McCoy goes off against the 49ers. The 49ers just wrecked the Rams, right? So, and I know they just lost to the Panthers, but I mean, Cam's back. Who knows? There could be a huge turn of events the second half of the season. Watch Cam be like his MVP self. I swear, if the Panthers win the Super Bowl, I will lose my mind. This would be the weirdest year of football ever. But anyway, I like the Cardinals. I like their team. They have a good defense. They're just banged up. That's what sucks the most. That's why I had to drop them a little bit. But now let's just get into the top 5. Now, the top 5, honestly, I think these are easily the 5 best teams in the league as it stands right now. Because, again, you never know what will happen. Someone will probably fall off. Injuries will happen. Someone who's not been looking great earlier in the season will possibly step it up. Like teams like I like that are like the Bengals, the Vikings, maybe the Steelers. And then possibly, the Chiefs I'd say would be a part of that, but the Chiefs they have a winning record, and then maybe the Seahawks. But the Seahawks might be too far gone. I believe they're 3-7, which isn't great. But anyway, let's just get into the top 5. I think these are easily the 5 best teams, and they're interchangeable. Like my number 5 could honestly be the number 1, at least number 3. Okay, all right. So number 5, I have the New England Patriots. Okay, now New England Patriots. Mac Jones looks insanely good. Like no one was thinking he would be this good right out of college. Like he's just a perfect quarterback, you know? Like he's not like that flashy guy. He doesn't have the most insane arm. He doesn't have the legs to run, but he gets it done. Like he can throw elite passes. Again, he doesn't have like a Mahomes arm or a Stafford arm or a Josh Allen arm, but he has a decent arm and he's accurate. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks it's looking like. He's like kind of like Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins on like this Patriots team would probably go far being coached by Belichick, right? But Mac Jones is killing it. Honestly, Jamar Chase has to go off if he wants to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Mac Jones is going nuts right now. Okay, Patriots are looking like one of the most dominant teams in football. Like they're beating good teams. Like they just destroyed the Browns. I mean, Baker got hurt, but they destroyed the Browns 45-7 this past week. Right, like the week before that, I'm pretty sure they went off. Oh, so in week 9, like the Patriots won 24-6 against the Panthers. But I mean, of course, that's when Sam Darnold got banged up and wasn't playing well. But this like J.C. Jackson on this defense is unreal. Like this is like a classic Patriots defense where they're just going off. All right, and this offense is clicking like how it would never have done with Cam there. All right, let's just go on to number 4. So at number 4, I have the Tennessee Titans. They would probably be my number 1 team because they've had great wins. Their only losses have been bad losses. I will give them that. Like they lost to the Jets early in October. I'll mention that every time because I think they easily should have won that game. And like they lost it in overtime. But anyway, I have them at 4 because I still think they're one of the better teams in the league. Like their defense is really good. Their O-line is stepping up. Unfortunately, Derrick Henry's out. He might be able to return towards the end of the season, maybe in postseason. If they can make playoffs and Derrick Henry can come back, watch out for this team. They could easily be Super Bowl favorites. Julio Jones has been having some terrible hamstring issues that's been torturing him all year. It sucks because I would love to see A.J. Brown and Julio be going off together. Like A.J. Brown's been good. He hasn't been great because he's had some injuries as well. But Tannehill's honestly been a monster when he doesn't even have that much to work with outside of A.J. Brown at this moment in time. Yet they're still winning games. Like they had a close game this week. Yeah, they had a close game this week against the Saints, who have honestly, even though Jameis is out, they're still a pretty competitive football team. Like Saints have one of the better defenses in the league. But the Titans won by two points. I respect them. You know, like they're still able to win games, even though like they're quite hurt, right? If Tannehill goes down though, this team is gonna probably drop out of my top 10 because I don't think anyone who steps up could do anything. Right, but if the Titans are 100% like Julio and Derrick Henry are playing, this is the best team in the NFL. No doubt in my mind. All right, let's go on to number 3. All right, so at number 3, we have the Buffalo Bills. Okay, now they've had some bad losses, I will say that, but Josh Allen is too good of a football player. Like most games this year, when they do win, they destroy people. Like last week was a bad week. The Bills honestly got wrecked by the Jaguars. Not wrecked, like they only lost by 3 points, but like not a single touchdown was scored that game, which I thought was weird. But then they go this week and beat the Jets 45-17. Like they have a good defense, but if their offense isn't clicking, then they're not that great of a football team. But they can hold people to like field goals, right? They can hold other teams to field goals, which we saw with the Jaguars, but they couldn't get in the end zone. They get in the end zone, they win that game. And that's the thing. Like the Bills are one of the most explosive offenses in the league, and if they can't score, who knows? They could not. They might. Like they can't do that in playoffs. You know, they have to be explosive like they usually are. Again, they whooped the Jets this week, 45-17. Like that. Like they're a good team. And that's why they're my top 3. All right, now we have the Cowboys at number 2. Now, the Cowboys are a team that is only a top 5 team with Dak playing, right? And here's the thing. They might have rushed Dak in now 2 weeks ago now because, like, Cooper Rush literally won against the Vikings on Halloween Sunday Night Football. And then they lose to the Broncos a week later with Dak actually starting, right? But I think Dak should have waited one more week. At the very least, this was a week to get Dak more in a groove of things, and they lost. But then this last week, they just came back fighting. They won 43-3 against the Falcons. Like, they destroyed the Falcons. Like, and the Falcons, like, they're probably, if I'm making a full power rankings video, the Falcons are easily a bottom 5 team in the NFL, in my opinion. But the Cowboys absolutely destroyed them. Like, they look dominant when Dak is feeling it. Like, when Dak is on it, he's on it, all right? So, I like the Cowboys. I really like them a lot. Again, I would... Here's my thing. I would mainly argue like the top 3 are for sure, without a doubt, the 3 best teams in the league. But the Titans and Patriots are so close to these teams. And the Cowboys are just really good. Really, really good. Like CeeDee Lamb's awesome. Michael Gallup's good. Mcube's good. Zeke is like, you know, he's not even the best year, but he's actually doing okay. You know, he's doing all right. Like he's not killing you in fantasy football. And, you know, like the Cowboys, like their defense is okay. Like I might get some hate on that. Like they had a really good defensive week this week, but I mean it's really just Trayvon Diggs. Micah Parsons has been a little quiet recently. I feel he's still good. He's probably gonna win Defensive Player of the Year, I would assume. But Trayvon Diggs could possibly win Defensive Player of the Year, which is huge. Might actually beat out like someone like Aaron Donald, who's usually a front runner to win it every year. Because the dude has like 8 interceptions now. He just got one this week against the Falcons. So I mean, As long as they can score more than the team they're playing. Let's say it's an NFC Championship game, Cowboys-Packers, for example. Because, just a little hint, Packers are number one, right? And I think everyone's cool with that. When Aaron Rodgers out there, the Packers are the best team in the league. But I'll get to that in a second. Just finish my point. So, like, the Cowboys, if they can win, or if they can get to the NFC Championship, they really, really need their defense to at least get 1 or 2 turnovers, and they can win the football game. Their offense, most of the time, even against whatever defense, they can usually go down and at least get 3, like they can at least score a field goal, right? But usually they'll make it into the end zone. Like the one game I remember watching where it was like the Cowboys versus the Patriots, I'm like, dude, the Patriots are actually really good. They're about to beat the Cowboys, who was truly looking like the best team in football around that time. And then they looked like they were definitely the best team in football because then they go to overtime with the Patriots. Like Dak leads an awesome game-winning drive, and then Dak throws an awesome touchdown into the end zone to win the game. And then they were able to cover that game where the odds of them covering was like 0.01 or something like that. Some crazy low odds for them to cover, which was an awesome game. I remember watching that. I loved it. But anyway, let's just go on to number 1, which is the Packers. Now, the Packers, what can I say? They're a good team. Their defense has been stepping it up. Really, it's really good. Once Jair's back, that secondary should be unreal. That offense, it only clicks through Aaron Rodgers because with Aaron Rodgers out there, he can scan that field. Like, he can tell who's open. He can read pressure like it's no one's business. He can run the ball. He rarely gets hurt, Like he just went on the COVID list. It's the only reason he missed a game. That's the only reason. If Aaron Rodgers was playing that Chiefs team at Arrowhead, the Packers easily would have beat them. They would only have 1 loss this year, and that was to the Saints week 1 when they got absolutely wrecked. Right? I believe they only have 2 losses. Yeah, they're 8-2. They could easily be 9-1 right now if Aaron Rodgers wasn't on the COVID list, and that's crazy. Like, they're a really good football team. And then, frankly, if Aaron Rodgers was like playing how he has been playing week 1, they'd be the only team who's undefeated. But anyway, the Packers are unreal. Aaron Rodgers is a monster, and I just, it's just I hate praising them because I'm not a Packers guy. I respect Aaron Rodgers because I think he's a really, really, really good football player. But I just don't like the team. I'm a Vikings fan, remember? And I here's my thing. Vikings just beat the Chargers. Watch out if they can go. So the Packers are coming to Minnesota to take on the Vikings this week, which should be a primetime game. I don't know why it's not, but that should be an epic game. All right, guys. Like, if the Vikings win that, they might sneak into my top 10 because they're literally the best team. Like, they have one of the best rosters in the league, I would say, and they have one of the best teams in the league roster-wise. Like, they just can't win the games, which is unfortunate. But if they can beat the Packers, like, legitimately, there's no crap calls from refs, and, like, Aaron Rodgers throws a pick or 2, and Kirk Cousins is lights out, Dobbins elite, JJ goes for over 100 yards receiving. I think the Vikings can beat, to me, the best team in the league, and then that's when I'm like, the Vikings might get a little more cred, where they might potentially be in my top 10. They're in my top, 15, no matter what my top 20. I think they're on the cusp of being top 15. I'm pretty confident in that. Like, it's them or the Bengals based on who they both. So of course the Vikings play the Packers, and then the Bengals are going to be playing against the Raiders in Vegas. And if the Bengals can beat the Raiders, I can see both these teams making it into here, and then I could see definitely like the Ravens or the Rams potentially getting booted out. But we will see. All right, guys. But that's going to do it for me. Just make sure to look out for my Week 11 football picks, just so you guys can try to do some betting. I don't think I was too hot this week either because, football makes no sense no more. The Rams just got whooped on Monday Night Football. The Chiefs winning made sense. But I'll just go into it in my video. Don't worry. But yeah, just make sure to look out for that. That should come out sometime later this week. Also, make sure to check out any other content on Mcubed. We're hoping to get a lot of superhero content out to y'all. We're also gonna have some science fiction stuff on my part of Mcubed. But yeah, just let me know what you want to see for this channel as a whole. I'd love to do more sports stuff. I know I'm trying to do some. I try to get into some basketball and hockey. Like, I love me some hockey, like, as you can tell. But yeah, I'll make sure to catch y'all really soon, and make sure to like and subscribe, guys. All right, I'll catch y'all later. Bye bye.